Hi, this is Brittany, and welcome to the Reclusive Blogger Interviews. Hey everyone, it's Brittany here, and I'm back with a new episode from the Reclusive Blogger Interviews. It's been a long time since my last episode, and now we're on the first one of 2024. So it's best to just get right into it. So on this new episode, I talk with Young Rising Suns frontman Andy Tongren. The band are in the midst of a tour, and we chatted on one of their days off. They will be headed to Los Angeles to play the Lodge Room in Highland Park this week on April 26th. So we talked about their tour, their latest single and music video on Happy Hour, and their longevity as a band, due in part to their underlying friendship. In their career so far, Young Rising Suns has amassed over 400,000 monthly Spotify listeners and accumulated well over 100 million streams with their songs like Sad, Clap Your Hands, King of the World, Carry On, and In My Room. The band also have an extensive touring history under their belt, which includes sharing the stage with artists and bands such as Halsey, the 1975, The Neighborhood, and Weezer. So I hope you guys are going to enjoy this one. Welcome to Season 4 and Episode 1 with Andy Tongren of Young Rising Suns. Hi, can you hear me?
Hey, yeah, I can.
Okay, cool. Sorry I was a little bit late. How long were you waiting?
Oh, it's all good. I'm just chilling. Just a couple minutes. No sweat.
I guess I just kind of want to start out with my with kind of how your background is as
All
an
right.
artist and a little bit about your band and everything. Young Rising Suns.
Cool. Yes. So yeah, we've been playing music together for like over 10 years now. We kind of started as best friends, and it kind of grew into making music together. And that's kind of like remained our mantra is friends first, bandmates second. So I think that's really helped in the creation process and the business side of everything. So, um, yeah, we just are four dudes that are pretty transparent that love to play music together.
And since your foundation for the band and everything is friendship, do you think that kind of makes it easier when it comes to like touring and going out on the road, and I guess even when it comes to recording and studio time?
Absolutely. Yeah, we're around each other a lot. So if I didn't like the other three guys, it'd be an issue. But I mean, it doesn't really change too much from touring to when we're home because we all hang out together when we're doing band stuff or not. So um, it certainly helps. I think tour is something that really can mentally test
Hmm.
you, and it's really nice to have a support system with your best friends out experiencing the same things and going through the same things. And yeah, when one of us is kind of feeling it, the other three are there to kind of pick them up.
And I guess kind of elaborate on that more. Um, is there like a certain band member that's always kind of the one that lifts that lifts the other band members up more or anything like that?
Max, definitely Max. He's he's one of the most positive, optimistic guys I think I've ever met. Um, and sometimes like so much so that sometimes it's annoying. You're like, just let me be like upset, man. But no, like it's so incredible to have a guy like that around and so important. Because he's always the one that's kind of like the rock, and the glue that can kind of piece things together when um one of us feels a little bit broken. So
And
it's very
uh,
helpful to
uh,
have him.
um, I know another big foundation in wanting to kind of do the whole band thing, because I know it's kind of arduous, is music. So what were some of your favorite artists or bands kind of growing up that could still or still influence you in your career today?
Yeah, I think we all really bonded over Blink 182 and like pop punk around that time. That's kind of the reason why we all started playing music and picked up an instrument in the first place. But we kind of all grew up on different stuff. Steve, I think his favorite band is Queen. Max loves like 80s hair metal rock. Julian is our like our punk guy, and I grew up on a lot of like Motown and Beach Boys kind of stuff. So we kind of have found a way to fuse them all together to make what we do. But I think all of those things certainly help shape and influence what we write now as a band.
And to kind of bank off of that question a bit, do you have like a really what is your kind of earliest music related memory?
um, I mean, I've been singing ever since I can remember. My first sentence, though, and I personally don't remember this, but my mom likes to remind me a lot. My first sentence, the string of words that I put together was "Mommy, please don't sing." Um, and admittedly, she is like, I love her. She's a little tone deaf. So I don't know. I think they kind of knew I was leaning towards music then, and I don't know, I like couldn't get enough of it as a kid and picked up every instrument I could, and whether it's like banging stuff around like it was a drum, or um like picking up a guitar when I did, or singing. Yeah, I kind of started early.
Um, I guess let's kind of talk a little bit about your. I think this is your latest single. And Unhappy Hour. Am I correct? Yeah.
Hmm.
Okay.
Hmm.
And then kind of the inspiration behind that track, and then also the music video as well.
Yeah, so the inspiration's kind of funny. It sort of stemmed from more of like a joke. We were at a writing session and got out on a writing trip out in LA, and went to a bar to grab a drink afterward, and walked in 1 minute after happy hour ended. So we were like, they should call this unhappy hour. And we were brainstorming, and we are like, there might be something there. Um, so we kind of like sat at the bar and wrote some lyrics out and concepts out on bar napkins, and it kind of came from there. And I think a lot of um, YRS inspiration kind of comes from finding silver linings,
Hmm.
or the good in the mundane or not so great parts of life. And unhappy hour, just in terms of context or concepts, it was kind of a layup in that sense for us. Um, because I don't know, you can kind of make it what you want, and we kind of tried to elaborate on that a bit in the video. 'Cause I don't know, we all are searching for our own individual happy hours, I think.
Hmm.
Um, Not necessarily at a bar, sometimes it is that. um, but yeah, I don't know, I think um, it can mean different things to different people, and that's kind of what we chose to elaborate on in the video, is that we all kind of each have our own unique moments that um, we find in our ultimate search for happiness.
And I guess to well, there was something that you said with about the song, where you were saying that a lot of the things that you kind of were focusing on with lyrically with that song, is that something that your band typically focuses on, or do you kind of yeah.
Sometimes, yeah, I think that was one where we really had sort of a defined concept and like linear kind of timeline for what we wanted to say within the song. Sometimes it's just a run-on sentence and a spew of thoughts
Hmm.
that just happens. But it kind of it depends on the song and depends on the day and um, our moods and how we're all feeling.
And also going back to the fact that you kind of were writing the fleshing out the song so quickly,
Hmm.
also the fact that you guys are friends first, is kind of writing songs something that just comes that quickly all the time, and or is it more of a longer process?
It kind of depends. Sometimes they come fast. Other times, we can be tinkering around in the studio with ideas and concepts for weeks, if not months. There are some songs that we'll go back to after a few years and be like, why didn't we put this out? Why did this become a B side? And we can tinker around with it and play with it, and then it becomes something we love. I think we kind of look at every song as its own little journey and own little life. So sometimes they're quick. Um, Unhappy Hour, that was an it just kind of was there. I think we just had to kind of reach out and grab it. But there are others where you could find us banging our heads against a wall to to get to where we want to go. But um, at the end of the day, we feel like we get there eventually.
And since you had mentioned that you consider each song its own little journey, do you think that that is one of the reasons why that you were, as a band, were able to like kind of created this, have gotten the fans that you have, and they've kind of just kind of glommed onto the Young Rising Suns, I guess, music and world?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's sort of like a conjunction between our music and just the transparency. I don't know. I think people are smart enough to see through things that are not real. Um, and I think the four of us have like a very real connection and friendship. And the cool thing that we see among our fans is that um, they all become friends too, whether
Mm-hmm.
it's in line at a concert or just a random DM on Instagram, what have you. And it's really cool to see that community kind of come together.
Yeah, I think in terms of where I see music kind of going, that's really essential nowadays, is to be, first of all, authenticity. And
Mm-hmm. Hmm.
because me being a part of different like fandoms, that I've noticed a lot of that, people have becoming like friends with people from all over the world and stuff like that, and I think
Hmm.
people can kind of see through certain BS with artists and bands quickly, even more so nowadays.
Totally. Totally. Yeah. People are smart enough to decide for themselves, I think, whether something is authentic or not. So I don't know. We've kind of learned that A, it's just like too hard to try and be something other than yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And B, it just like what's the point of it? I think people are either gonna like you or they're not, and if they're not, that's okay. I think you just need to
Yeah.
say okay,
Yeah, I mean,
find the people that do.
yeah, there's always going to be like people that just, it doesn't matter what you do, they're just not going to like you and whatever you're presenting and
Yeah,
offering, but there will always be a group out there or a person out there, whatever it is, that will like what you have out there. So
yep,
yeah, if you don't learn
totally.
that early on, you're pretty much are not going to be living a pretty like a
Yeah,
happy
it's
life
a
or content life.
it's an uphill
Yeah.
battle, and I think that is true for everything in life, not just music or
Mm-hmm.
entertainment industry. I think just be yourself.
Um, I guess my to kind for someone that hasn't heard any of your music, but you just want to quickly describe your sound. What three
Mhm.
words would you use?
Hmm. Optimistic, punchy, um, and fun.
What is something that people are generally surprised to learn about you or your band or both?
That's a good question. I don't know. I don't think there are too many surprises with us just because we try to be transparent. I think people are surprised when they hear how long we've been playing together, the four of us. That's generally the biggest.
What who is there a I guess maybe someone who's uh been like your biggest champion as a artist or a musician?
Hmm. Um, that's a good question. Not really artist or musician. I think our families probably have been our biggest champions, though. Steve's mom, in particular, we still practice in her basement, and she puts up with us. So she is a saint and a legend for doing that after all of these years. Um, but yeah, no, I think it's just sort of the support cast we have around us with our families.
Yeah, that I think when you especially coming into a business like the music business is one of the things that is I think kind of helps a lot of people stay grounded and not kind
Hmm.
of get caught up in some of the more uh, kind of bad aspects of it.
Yeah, yeah. There's a lot of flashy elements that are
Mm-hmm.
easy to kind of stumble upon and get sucked up in, but no, we've learned it's important to stay grounded.
Um, and going back to being grounded and all that stuff, what does just the simple basics of music like songwriting and being able to express your thoughts in that way mean to you?
It means everything. I mean, the four of us have gone through moments where um, that kind of inspiration doesn't come, and it's not really a thing that you can force. I don't think. I don't know. I do a lot of songwriting for other artists as well, and um, it's a lot of people look at it as a 9 to 5,
Mm-hmm.
which is fine, and they like a lot of those people have success. But it's hard for me to approach it that way. I think you can kind of um, or not can you can't really pick or choose when you're going to feel inspired to write a song. It either happens or it doesn't. So um, yeah, I think I'll be honest. I don't even remember the question anymore. But
It was just
um,
I think it was we were asking about like songwriting, but
yeah, I think um, I don't know. To be authentic, you just kind of have to go off of your experiences, and if they're not there, then it's tough to make them up.
and I know that you guys have just started a tour, right? So
Hmm.
you're on tour. How's the tour been? And what's your kind of favorite thing about touring? And if you have like any tour must-haves.
Um, Tour's been great so far. We're like about a weekend, I think. My voice has gotten a little thrashed. I started with a little bit of like a rasp, and unfortunately, we had to cancel a show last night, which was such a bummer. Um, but it's coming back. We're getting there. Other than that, though, it's been awesome. I think um, it just kind of feels like summer camp in a way with your best
Yeah.
friends. And our crew is outstanding. And no, it's been really nice to be back out on the road. This is the first headline we've done in like 6
Oh,
years,
wow.
if not longer. Um, so to go out and play these cities and see people that are still there with us singing along, it truly means the world to us.
And since I'm in based out of LA, what are you most excited about to be playing a LA show and stuff like that? Yeah.
It's been a long time since we've done like a proper LA show, I think. We did one of the like We Found New Music showcases a few years back. But yeah, it's been a minute. LA, it can be a little hit or miss. It's similar to like where we live in New York, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Um, any of those markets where the music industry exists, it's a lot of
Yeah.
impress me type
Mm-hmm.
folks, which is fine. But I think that's something that we kind of love. It's like it's a little bit of a
Mm-hmm.
challenge, I think, and we kind of thrive under those conditions. Um, and just sort of accept it. I don't know. We like to have a good time on stage, and we want the people there to have fun too. So um, we accept the challenge wholeheartedly when we're in LA to get people to vibe and have fun and enjoy themselves rather than stand there with their arms crossed.
Yeah, that's I guess that's just kind of LA's vibe, you know. It's
I know, I know, I know.
yeah, I go to shows or I'll like photograph a show and I'm just like, why is everybody? I guess that's
Yeah,
just
you're allowed to have fun. It's
yeah. It's
okay.
like we can dance
Um,
here, we could do yeah,
yeah.
but
Hmm.
yeah. So you're
Hmm.
playing the lodge room, if I'm correct. Okay,
Hmm.
yeah. I'm not sure if I've been to that venue, and I've been to a lot of LA venues, but I don't think I've been to
Yeah,
that one.
I think it's a newer one.
Okay.
Last time I was out there. I didn't go to the venue itself, but it's connected to a bar that's really cool called Checker Hall, I
Okay. Yeah.
believe.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that area is really neat too. I hadn't spent a whole lot of time over there, but yeah, there's some cool little spots over there, and we're excited to jump in and play.
Do you mind answering for the last few questions? A few last like things like that. Okay.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, yeah.
Um, last things I discovered about myself.
That I'm better at light design than I thought I was.
Last thing that I misplaced.
Oh, my phone charger.
Last time I felt like a kid.
Um, I think the the DC show. It like the energy was just great. Made me feel like I was like back in high school playing a VFW hall.
Last thing I do before I go on stage.
We do a chant which we borrow from the movie Almost Famous, um, and that's sort of our like final little thing before we walk out.
Last perfect day off.
Today's pretty good. Um, we were supposed to be in Nashville last night, but had to cancel unfortunately. So we're in Atlanta now, and with the show tomorrow, have the day off, and um, I get to see my brother and his family who live here, and we just kind of get to take it easy. So it's been a good one.
That's it's always great when you get to see people that you are know and
Totally.
love. So yeah, because I always hear from when I'm interviewing like musicians that touring can be very like a lot of fun, but then
Hmm.
it's tiring. So you have to like
Totally. Yeah,
balance
it's
that.
absolutely a balance, and I think that's one of our favorite parts of doing this is like, it brings us to places we likely wouldn't go otherwise. So um, we get
Hmm.
to see people that we wouldn't see otherwise, which is nice.
And I think I
Hmm.
have two more. Last time I felt nostalgic.
Hmm. Yesterday, I I threw the baseball with my little nephew, and it like made me kind of like yearn for that I don't know, the no cares of childhood kind of essence. But no, that was a lot of fun.
And oh, this is not a last, but what is kind of like next on the horizon for you guys? And is there anything that you can share, or maybe like a question that I forgot to ask or anything? Just kind of wrap up.
Yeah, we are 1 week in, and I think we have about like 5 left on this tour. So just kind of starting here, but have a lot of new music, some that we're playing live, and some of which will be out very soon. A little bit more touring on the horizon for some of the places we weren't able to hit this time around. And I think really we're like a band that grew up listening to albums as a whole and vinyl. So we've been doing a lot of singles, which is great, but we prefer to listen to music as a body and as a whole. So I think that's one thing that's important to us is that we view our music in that way too. So possibly a little album down the road.
Yeah, that's amazing. I'm also like that as well. I do like to
Mm-hmm.
listen to things on shuffle, but sometimes when you get a really amazing album, you it's just
Mm-hmm.
best to just listen through it.
Yeah, no
No,
skips.
yeah,
Yeah,
no skips
that's the
album.
goal.
And
Yeah, yeah.
since you did mention that, what is the last no skips album that you've listened to?
Um, oof. I listened to Pet Sounds a couple weeks ago on vinyl front to back, and that's like one of my favorite albums of all time.
Yeah, I do. I like them a
Um,
lot. So yeah.
yeah. Um, yeah, it kind of I don't know, recenters me a little bit that record. So, um, yeah, yeah. I think that was the last one.
Yeah. So thank you so much for taking the time out. I do hope your voice holds up and everything.
We're getting there. The allergies are a little rough down
Yeah,
here,
mine
but
are bad too, but I'm in California, so I feel like it's like always bad and stuff like that. I'm
yeah.
always hoarse, but I'm not singing, so but
Well, yeah, I hope you kick the allergies as well.
so it was nice meeting you and talking with you, and have a great rest of the tour. And
Thank you.
I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I'll see you in the next episode. And don't forget to subscribe, share, like, check me out on socials. All of those will be linked in the description. Thank you.